Klopp rekindled his interest in Aurelien Tchouaméni. After Liverpool signed Alexis Mac Allister and Dominic Szoboszlai, a new update has surfaced on the search for another midfielder and the potential move for a familiar transfer target. According to reports, Liverpool have rekindled their interest in Real Madrid midfielder Aurelien Tchouaméni this summer. Jürgen Klopp is allegedly willing to sign if Tchouaméni is released by Los Blancos. This will depend on Kylian Mbappe's potential autograph, and the sale of Tchouaméni could raise money to get the Paris Saint-Germain star's autograph. Tchouaméni was Liverpool's best midfield goal last summer. But the approach of the Champions League rivals was too tempting for the player to refuse. In the summer of 2022, the Reds reportedly agreed to personal terms with Tchouaméni, but within weeks he was confirmed to be a Real Madrid player in a €100 million deal. It was later reported last month that Liverpool offered €55 million to drive him away from Spain. However, the offer fell short of expectations, with Florentino Perez demanding a tearful €80 million fee. Indeed, it would be an exaggeration for FSG to pay a hefty fee this summer after spending over £95 million already. But as both Fabinho and Jordan Henderson prepare to head to the Saudi Pro League this summer, this could be a move that has established Liverpool's midfield for many years to come. Tchouaméni is one of Europe's hottest young contenders and is in the top 1% of positional peers in Europe's top 5 leagues for pass completion and stoppage. He's in the top 11% in aerial duels and winning openings, displaying strong midfield traits that could make him an excellent Henderson alternative. It also shows that he can be a great partner for Mac Allister. Comparing the 23-year-old's performance with the Liverpool captain's performance last season, Tchouaméni comfortably outperformed the English midfielder on a number of key features including pass completion, goal per game action, successful steals, dribbling percentage and air duels won. Mac Allister's affiliation with Moises Caicedo became an unstoppable force on the South Coast last season, eventually helping the Seagulls enter European football. According to FBref, Caicedo ranks as one of the most comparable players to Tchouaméni in the last 12 months. Double pass completions bear similarities to per-game shot creation actions and per-game progressive passes. This shows that Mac Allister can improve with the French star. If the Reds can strike a deal with Real Madrid, it will give Klopp a full midfield restructuring ahead of next season. With Liverpool's completion of this transfer, it seems that there will be no shortage of midfielders for many years. But Aurelien Tchouaméni is currently in a club participating in the Champions League, which is the biggest tournament every player wants to be in. The Reds failed to finish in the top 4 after a bad season last summer and are in 5th place. Therefore, it will compete in the Europa League. The French star's desire to stay in the Champions League can make this transfer very difficult. Luis Diaz is attracting the attention of Saudi clubs. While the pre-season continued well, Al Ittihad made a big money move for Fabinho and reports claim the Brazilian is just one medic away from completing this transfer. Al Ittihad then made a surprise move for Jordan Henderson, but for some strange reason they thought they could bring him on a free transfer. The Reds' request for money believed to be in the region of £20 million for their captain stopped Steven Gerrard's side at their tracks. But they are expected to come back soon on better terms, relying on the knowledge that Henderson wants the move. Now Al Hilal has included themselves. According to reports, the state-sponsored club is expected to make a move for Luis Diaz. A £43 million bid has been prepared for the 26-year-old, and coach Jorge Jesus is reportedly eager to add the Colombian star to his already stacked roster. Al Hilal has spent more than £100 million signing Wolves' Ruben Neves, Chelsea's Kalidou Koulibaly and Lazio's Sergej Milinkovic-Savic this summer. Clearly, the Reds have no intention of parting ways with their new number 7. Every player has a price though, so it's up to Al Hilal to bring Liverpool to the table. But a £43 million offer isn't a convincing enough price. The 2019-2020 Premier League champions paid £37.5 million for the former Porto man in January 2022, with potential add-ons. In the eyes of some fans, Diaz is one of the few untouchables on the roster. After moving to Anfield, he made 39 appearances for the national team and played an important role in driving the international arena. He was named player of the match in the FA Cup final and started in both the Champions League and Carabao Cup finals. Diaz was probably Liverpool's best striker in the early stages of the 2022-2023 season. While Darwin Núñez was still trying to find his form, Mohamed Salah was used more as a creator to adapt to the new £64 million signing. Fleet-footed winger Diaz scored 3 goals and had 2 assists in his first 10 Premier League games. There were also signs of a partnership with Darwin in the match against Arsenal. A knee injury ruled him out from October to April, and he was returned to a completely different team. After claiming the iconic number 7 jersey this season, the expectation is that he will become an integral part of the team. But if Al Hilal is ready to test the waters, they must have gotten some encouragement from the player or their agents, right? After all, there is no point in accepting terms with a club if the player has no interest in joining. Of course, it happens occasionally. While at Porto, the Spurs were not interested in the move, but tried to sign him. But the attitude of Saudi Arabian clubs this summer suggests there might be something there. So what kind of money should Liverpool ask for if Diaz is open to a move? The Barrancas-born winger does not share the same playing profile as Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane. He's not an exit monster. Instead, he's a traditional winger who does his best when he can carry the ball. As for the wide players, these were real goal threats for the Reds. Diaz has yet to show that he can go that high. In fact, the only time he was at this level was in his last half season with Porto when he averaged a goal expectation of 0.7. Still, this was an anomaly. Prior to that, in his 2 full seasons in Portugal, he averaged 0.3. Based on these numbers alone, you could theoretically replace Diaz for around £40 million. For reference, Football Transfers has set Diaz's expected transfer value at £32 million. But this is largely due to the fact that he is not playing. The expected transfer value at the peak stands at £50 million. However, these figures are unlikely to convince Liverpool. If a £80 million bid came in, perhaps the Reds would consider it. The problem is that it means a new attacker has to be signed along with 1 or 2 midfielders and potentially a centre-back. That's a lot of overhaul, and it's not clear yet what the plan for Diaz is. So it takes something really remarkable to convince Liverpool to part ways with their new number 7. Also, Klopp's faith in Diaz and the role he's given him on the team could certainly cost a lot more. But if Diaz insists on leaving the team and going to Saudi Arabia, things could of course turn into something very different. Saudi clubs can be tempting, especially with the high salaries they give to the players. They've turned a lot of things upside down in the transfer market this summer, and there are too many clubs that are uncomfortable with this situation.